Hello everyone, welcome to Academy of Civil Services. In this video, I'll be explaining another important term, that is asymmetrical federalism. This will come under our Indian polity syllabus, which is a polity current affair, because there was a news article published in Hindu Delhi edition on 15th August. The article title was, "In a system of asymmetrical federalism, India must remain a mosaic." So this article was discussed the relevance of asymmetrical federalisms, how it has helped India for the governance, for developments, how this will help in accommodating the interest of different people in India. That is why this topic is very important for our prelims and the mains perspective, asymmetrical federalism. So before we look into the asymmetrical federalism, we should understand what is meant by symmetrical federalism, the concept of symmetrical federalism and asymmetrical federalism. The symmetrical federalism refers to a system of federal government where the constituent states has an equal power. That means all the states which are formed as a constituent states in that government, they will share equal power. There is no discrimination. Everybody share equal power. For example, we have seen the government of Australia and the US. That means both this government of Australia and US, we have seen all the states equally share, the equal power is shared between the states. So this in terms we can say symmetrical. That means symmetrical, equally divided between the states, the constituents, federals of that particular government. So this is what mean by symmetrical federalism. So when we come back to the asymmetrical federalism, it is opposite to the symmetrical federalism. That means it is not equal. Even though we consider, that means the federations, the consideration we have a constituents of the states, but not all the states have an equal power. Some state has given a differential treatment, different powers has been given. The examples of the different countries which follow the asymmetrical federalism, that is, one example we can see the Constitution of India, then Belgium, Germany, Canada and Spain. These are the examples of the countries which follow the asymmetrical federalism, the asymmetrical system of the federal government. Then coming back to the asymmetrical federal system in India, the principle that India follow is the principles of weighted and differentiated equally. This call for equal treatment of all the states by considering, while being mindful that some state has given some more consideration, some more equals or unequal with the other states. That means in order to accommodate the interest of different community, that means India, we know that is a diverse country. We have multi-linguistics, multicultural, there are different community living in India. So in order to accommodate the different communities of Indians, so that is why we have followed this system of asymmetrical federalism, which has a capacity to accommodate the various social groups and their interest in making India thrive for a federal democracy. That is why the asymmetrical characteristics is existed in Indian federalism. So we will look into the two types of the asymmetrical federalism in India, which is described by Ronald Watts, and in terms of political and constitutional asymmetrical. So we will discuss on the first term, that is political asymmetry. For example of political asymmetry, we can say the representations in the Rajya Sabha. The Rajya Sabha represent the representation of the states. So Rajya Sabha, the seats are allocated on the base of populations. So for example, if you take the Uttar Pradesh has representation of 31 seats in the Rajya Sabha on the base of population, because they have more population. So if they have a more population, more representation in the Rajya Sabha, but in the case of Meghalaya and Mizoram, just one each members are representing in Rajya Sabha. That means in asymmetrical federalism, in terms of political asymmetry, we can see they are not equally represented in the Rajya Sabha. They are differentiated. Not on the base of population, they are representing in Rajya Sabha. Is an example of political asymmetrical system, asymmetrical federalism in India. Then we will discuss on the constitutional asymmetry. What are the provisions which already mentioned in our constitution, which shows an example of constitutional asymmetrical federalisms? For example, we can see the special provisions has been given to certain states. Already we have seen the revocation of Article 370 earlier, which was a special status which was given to Jammu and Kashmir. Under Article 371, we have seen the special powers, special status is being given to Nagaland, Mizoram, of these two states of the Northeast. That means if any parliamentary law, if that is need to be implemented in that state, it will require the permission from the state legislature. So that is to protect the religious, social practices, customary laws and the procedure of the Nagas and the Mizos. That is why in order to accommodate the interest of these particular regions, the community, there is a provision, a special status has been given to Nagaland and Mizoram is an example of constitutional asymmetry. Then another example, we have seen the establishment of autonomous district council under the 6th schedule of Indian constitutions, like particular state like including Assam, the Tripura and Mizoram and Meghalaya. We have seen that it has acknowledged in protecting the socio-cultural, political, historical rights of the tribes of the northeastern states. So establishment of autonomous district council under 6th schedule is also another example of constitutional symmetry that we have seen in Indian federalist system. Now coming back to the union territories, we discussed regarding the states. Within the union territories also we have seen the differential treatments, that is also asymmetrical federalism. Union territories itself, which are not very small, which cannot be formed as a states, maybe the cultural dissimilarities or interstate differences, or maybe other factors like we form Delhi as a union territory, we have Puducherry, we have others different union territories like Ladakh we form. So all these union territories we have seen in Indian federalist structure. Then Delhi and Puducherry is among the union territories which has a legislature, and future we are going to have another union territory with legislature is the Jammu and Kashmir. Now the election process is going on. Within the Delhi and Puducherry also we have seen differences that Puducherry has a law-making power in terms of land and police and civil services, but it is not available to Delhi. That means within the Delhi and Puducherry there is also differences. When we coming back to the Jammu and Kashmir, we know the revocation of Article 370, later as the Jammu and Kashmir formed as a union territory and Ladakh also formed as a union territory. But within this, Jammu and Kashmir has given the union territories with the legislative assembly, but that is not available to the Ladakh. Difference. Then Chief Minister of Delhi is appointed by the President of India on the recommendation of Lieutenant Governor, is another example of differential treatment within the union territory, is an example of our asymmetrical federalism in India. Now we will look into the financial matters, how the asymmetrical federalism exists in India. For example, transferring the fund from the center to the states in terms of center sector scheme and centrally sponsored schemes. So there are two types of schemes we have seen. Center sector scheme, which means complete fund will be taken by the central government. But in terms of centrally sponsored scheme, the fund will be shared between the center and states. Within that share, we have seen the differences. Like some state in scheme implementing centrally sponsored scheme will be shared by states and center, so 50 or 60%. But for certain regions, some region, example hilly regions or remote region, where the center will take more fund, for example 90%, 10% for the northeastern regions for implementing certain schemes. So this also another example of the existing differential treatments, center sector scheme, centrally sponsored scheme as terms of financial matters. So with this, I will conclude this topic, asymmetrical federalism, that is very much relevant for the governance perspective, that we can say it has facilitated the accommodating the demands or the interest of different communities. So one of the features of Indian society is the diverse. So diversity exists in India. We know that different communities live here, multicultural, multilinguistic society. In order to accommodate this interest, even the minority, the interest of the tribes, in order to accommodate all these interests, we have to follow the system of asymmetrical federalism. A differential treatment is required for their upliftment. That is why the asymmetrical federalism is important for our governance perspective. It will ensure the cooperative federalism that finally will be able to help achieving the development target, sustainable development and good governance. With this, I would like to end the sessions. We'll also come up with more videos in the upcoming sessions. Thank you for watching this video.